Anyway, okay. Josh Pate laid something out that I think will be very crucial to the Big 12's long-term competitive survival. Again, don't get me wrong, people. We're talking about competitive survival here. Competitive survival. I know the Big 12 is going to survive. I am not saying that it's in any jeopardy because, oh, by the way, I don't know how I haven't addressed this yet. I guess I did a video earlier this week on it. Utah is not leaving for the ACC. Breaking news. Breaking news, everybody. Utah is not leaving for the ACC. Hate to burst everyone's bubble, but Utah is not going to be leaving there. Dick Weiss, somebody alerted me to the fact that Dick Weiss was also somebody who had, what was the Porter Moser? He had Porter Moser going to Loyola. He had it signed, sealed, and delivered that Porter Moser was going to leave to go to Loyola and bail on Oklahoma already. So maybe we should be a little bit more discerning when trusting former columnists from papers in the Northeast. Not exactly a college football or college athletics hotbed up there. But yeah, Utah actually came out with a statement. Utah, let me read the statement here because it was quite funny. It's funny anyway that it rose to the point that this had to be uttered. University of Utah denies it would leave Big 12 for ACC. The statement was issued to Brett McMurphy. So Brett McMurphy has been basically involved in everything here. The statement said they are denying any notion that it is looking to leave the Big 12. We are proud to be entering into membership in the Big 12 Conference in the coming months and excited to join our new colleagues and member institutions. A report over the weekend that suggested otherwise is completely fabricated and irresponsible. Completely fabricated and irresponsible. You know, I have to say, respect to Utah for doing this. Now, I do get a little bit of an idea that perhaps the Big 12 may have nudged them in that direction to go ahead and make a statement to put out the fire on all of this. I know a lot of the speculation about Utah was the fact that the Utes are not, there was reporting done. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the guy's name. It's in my video if you watched it the other day. There was reporting done that got a copy of Utah's agreement that showed that they're not a part of like the 99-year agreement as a member of the conference that like everybody else is. That to me almost feels more cosmetic than anything because like Texas and Oklahoma were a part of that and it didn't really seem to affect their final price tag very much on getting out of the league. I don't read too much into that. As long as Utah has signed the grant of rights, I don't think it would be much of an issue. Now, that did seem to be a rumor that was starting to get pumped out of the rumor mill at one point in all of this as Utah caught itself back in that whole cycle. Look, I have no personal 100% knowledge on that, but the fact that they came out with a statement I would think would indicate that they've signed the grant of rights. The ACC didn't make sense for a number of reasons as were outlined in that video. Like, first of all, sinking ship is the idea that they would be backfilling for Florida State and Clemson. You think you're going to maintain enough media value doing that? You think that's going to be enough to keep North Carolina around and not lose everybody else? Or like, would Utah really prefer to be in like the Ivy League sort of ACC combo there? None of it made sense. There was talk of, hey, with the new competitive escalator that they have in there, like based on how well you do, you can earn more revenue than other schools. That if they did that, potentially that would be higher than the overall Big 12 payout, but that would mean that you'd have to be that successful every single year, like year in, year out in the ACC. None of it made sense. And Utah fancies itself a Big 10 team. There was even a hint dropped at one point over the last season by the head coach of the Utah Utes, Kyle Whittingham himself, in a press conference, dropped a hint that he thought that they would be playing UCLA again someday soon, which you have to just kind of assume would be like in the Big 10, which is where Utah still is trying to get. And they may be sort of fringy depending on where the cutoff is going to be and all that. So why would you bounce conferences here? Go win in the Big 12 and that stuff would take care of itself. Even if you look down on the truck stop conference and you feel like perhaps it would be a better cultural fit for you to actually be in the ACC. didn't make a whole lot of sense. But credit to Utah for whatever reason, whether they were nudged by the Big 12 or not, which again, I seem to get a little hint that perhaps the Big 12 nudged them like, hey, this is getting out of hand. Please do say something. They did make a statement. Yes, I know that Mark Harlan, the athletic director, made a statement about the Big 12 once before on Twitter. The give me a break thing, right? And yet they still wound up joining the Big 12. This does feel a little bit different to me. I would be absolutely stunned if the ACC came up for them. I think this was nothing more than just a pretty silly rumor that started to take off because you have people very motivated, namely like Oregon State fans who were running with it and saying, oh, well then, Oregon State and Washington State to the ACC, which I understand their plight. I understand their position. I get why they would want to jump on that. But this is realignment's tough, man. You gotta parse through what's reality and what is just total rumor. What's like educated speculation, what is just total rumor. It seems like that was much more the latter variety there. So the Big 12 is going to survive. Not that it would have crumbled with Utah leaving anyway. And that's not a shot at Utah. It would not have been great for the Big 12 to lose Utah, but it would not have made the league crumble. The Big 12 will be surviving. However, if they want to competitively survive, I think Josh Pate on his most recent show hit on something that will be very, very important. So I want to play you this clip. Josh Pate from 24/7 Sports. Definitely recommend his show. I enjoy it quite a bit. I think he is one of the best out there in the game.
I had someone, I'll keep their name out of it. They're very high up in the grand scheme of things in the Big Ten. They said, with this new money comes a new responsibility on our part. And what they went on to explain to me is, in no uncertain terms, the exchange for us cashing these big media rights checks is we got to be good past the top layer. We got to be good past just Ohio State and Michigan and Penn State. Because no one's paying us for 3 teams. They're paying us for a conference product. So they said it's been explained, it's understood at our B and C tier institutions as it relates to football. You guys got to take hiring more seriously. You got to be more aggressive in recruiting. Take football more seriously. Invest to a max degree in football.
Now, you guys know there's a lot of reasons why I'm going to like this clip, because as Wolf58, I see that you're popping in here, and I appreciate you, Wolf58. Getting in here a bit late, but want to lend a hand in your efforts. Hopefully you haven't been too harsh on my beloved Big Ten. I haven't, Wolf58, I swear, but I feel like this is like the kid getting walked in on right now, just like caught red-handed. Like, I am about to take a little bit of a shot here. It's not at your Ohio State Buckeyes. It is very much on the rest of the conference. I swear this was not intentional, Wolf58, and thank you very much for your support of the channel, as always. But I am going to take a bit of a shot at the Big Ten here, because there are plenty of teams in the Big Ten that need that warning that Josh Pate just talked about, or that maybe warning, that scolding. Like, hey, you guys get your bleep together, all right? It can't be Ohio State and Michigan just carrying the torch on everything. The Big Ten West has been a disaster for a very long time and allowed Iowa to just coast into tier 1 of the EA Sports payouts for college football 25, because they've been able to beat up on so many of those teams and play in so many Big Ten championship games, right? Like,